Good afternoon, everyone. Today my topic is about I'm Justina and welcome to this seminar. So today's my topic is about integrating healthy aging factors into gerontechnology-based intervention for promoting health among frail older adults. And here is the overview of my today presentations. Firstly, I will briefly talk about the concept of frailty and how it affects the health of older people. And then I will talk about the concept of healthy aging and its contributing factors. And finally, I will use two of my gerontechnology-based interventions and give you an examples how I try to, embed some of the healthy aging related factors in the design of my interventions. Well, first, let's look at what exactly is frailty. So do remember, frailty is not a disease. Rather, it is a clinical symptoms, as it is a physiological symptoms characterized by decreased reverse and resistance to stressor, result from accumulative declines across multiple physiological systems, and accumulate and causing vulnerabilities to adverse outcomes. So you may ask, well, Justina, what exactly you means by frailty by reading these definitions line by line? So let me give you an example. So let's look at the left-hand side on the slide. Let's look at the figures on the left-hand side. So in this figure, the x-axis refers to age or time. The y-axis refers to different levels of functional ability from robust to frail to disability. And this dotted point refers to the cutoff between independence to dependence. So let's look at the green line first. So the green line refers to older people who are still robust, while they are still maintaining a relatively independence in terms of maintaining the highest levels of their functional capability. So when stressor comes to their life, for example, it may be some minor disease. So they will experience a mild reductions on their functional ability, but they can, well, returns to their original levels of functional ability, just shortly after the stressor. But look at the red line, it represents the people with frailty. Maybe a same stressor comes to their life, they will experience a significant reductions on their functional abilities, and they will take a much longer period of time before they can get to recovery. However, they may never ever return to their original function, original levels of independence. So which means the illness or stressor can cause disabilities in frail older adults, but not in the robust older adults. So in summary, when we say that the frail older people are more vulnerable, it means that they are more likely to develop disabilities after stressor. So in phenotypes model, frailty was conceptualized as phenotypes with five observable clinical characteristics, which includes weight loss, reductions of muscle strength, and lower their walking speed, and also consistent feelings of fatigue, and reductions of their overall physical activity level. Well, actually, Fleet conducted an observational study with more than 6,000 older people and followed them for about 4 years and identified that actually these five clinical characteristics are highly predicted to different adverse health outcomes. For example, force, reduce of the mobilities, and from independence become dependence and had to admit it in the long-term care facilities, and also hospitalizations or even mortality. And she also tried to, propose a circles of frailty to explain the associations between these five characteristics with frailty. So, and this cycle, and the cycle starts with unintentional weight loss. Well, this is contributed by by chronic malnutrition, which is common among older people. Because of significant weight loss, it may predispose older people to develop sarcopenias because of severe muscle mass loss. Because of sarcopenia, so older people will contribute to or will make older people predisposed to decrease of metabolic rate and also reduce their muscle strength together with decrease of the total oxygen consumptions. So reduce muscle strength together with reduce overall oxygen consumption, it's predispose older people to lower their walking speed and also consistently feeling fatigue or exhaustion and decrease of their metabolic rate together with consistent feelings of exhaustion that predispose older people to reduce their overall physical activities level. So because of reduce their physical activities level is also, further worsens the conditions of malnutrition and predisposing them to weight loss. So that means the cycle starts again. It seems that older people enter a downward spiral. So actually, the exact pathophysiology of frailty is yet to be fully understood. And that's why different scholars try to propose different models to explain the underlying cause of frailty. So beside the phenotype model that I have just discussed to you, another model was proposed by Rockwood and his team is called cumulative deficit model. So it's basically mean that the more things individuals has gone wrong, the higher likelihood that they will be failed. So do things about it throughout our lifetimes. We experience a lot of, for example, accidents, diseases. So while sometimes we may not get 100% recovery, so that means it will cause some residual adverse health outcomes accumulated in our body. So that means more those deficits accumulated in our body, so we will have higher chances to develop frailty in our late life. Do remember stressor not just only from physiological aspect, it can also from psychosocial aspects. So actually there's lots of evidence suggested that older people, for example, with depressions or older people with limited social support, have limited social participations, they have higher chance to develop frailty in their late life. So, and because of cumulative deficit model, so later on, physical frailty evolved to, carry multi-dimensionals in nature, which include cognitive frailty, psychological frailty, and social frailty. So, for example, cognitive frailty refers to a coexistence of both physical frailties and mild cognitive impairment. So, importantly, well, it's not just merely a combinations of physical frailties or mild cognitive impairment, well, occurrence together by chance. Well, actually, it is a distinct symptoms arising from shared biological mechanism, well, such as vascular, inflammatory, nutritional, or metabolic factors. For psychological frailty, it refers to a multifactors construct involving cognitive impairment, mood disorder, well, such as depression, anxiety, loneliness, and it will eventually affect the resilience and the coping abilities in older adults. And also, social frailty refers to the reductions of their capabilities to maintain essential social resources, community engagement. It may manifest to limited social networks, inadequate social support, social isolation, and inability for them to fulfill the basic social needs. Well, actually, it's still very lots of arguments whether, physical frailty should evolve to other types of frailties as well, because some people think that it may be very difficult to differentiate, for example, older people with different types of disorder, well, to those physical frailty. But no, this discussion is not covered in today's presentations. We may, have another presentations to discuss is whether we can physical frailties can really evolve into having another types of frailties. Well, in the future. But now let's look at the impacts on health because of frailty. So this is the trajectories of people with normal aging process versus those with accelerated aging process. So again, in this figures, the x-axis refers to times or age, and the y-axis refers to different levels of functional ability. So let's look at the blue light that represents people with normal aging process who experience frailties toward the very late stages of their life. So they may experience just a mild reductions of their functional ability, so in a very short periods of time before death. So in contrast, the orange dotted line represents people with accelerated aging process. They will experience frailty much earlier in their life. So as a result, they will also experience an extended period of disablement before death. But fortunately, when people with accelerated aging first exposed to frailty, that means it provides a critical interventional window for us to implement appropriate interventions. Hopefully, we can reverse frailty and shorten the disablement period in later life. So now let's talk about the concept of healthy aging. So according to WHO, healthy aging is a process of developing and maintaining the functional ability that can enhance qualities of life in older people. And this process, mainly depends on two key factors. One is individuals' intrinsic capacity. So another is a characteristic of the age-friendly environment. And also the interactions between these two factors. So for the internal capacity, it encompasses for all biological, physio, and psychosocial factors. It affects the intrinsic capacity or the individual functional ability. For the environmental capacity, it includes but not limited to all the factors are listed in this PowerPoint. For example, which includes the physical environment, such as transportation, social facility, housing facility, as well as the social environment, such as older people should be provided chances to participate in different social important events, as well as they have, enough interactions with the people surrounding them and having a good relationships with other people. So, and this figure further explains how different level of influence affects the health of older people. So at the first level, it refers to individuals level. For example, their lifestyle is have a significant contributions of intrinsic capacity. So, there is already lots of evidence suggested that if an older person can maintain physically active lifestyle, they can enhance their overall health. So similarly, for a healthy diet habit, can also enhance both their physical and cognitive health, because lots of evidence suggested that Mediterranean diet can enhance our cognitive health. Well, so of course, I'm not suggesting that we should, abandon all our current diet habit and, follows the Mediterranean diet. But what I suggest is try to identify some proven effective food ingredients and try to adapted some of the food bit by bit into our daily diet. And also for the social participants, it has multiple benefits from provide adequate cognitive stimulations for interactive with other peoples to prevent the isolated related depressions, and also social participations can help older people to stay socially and also physically active. And for self-efficacy, there's a lot of evidence suggested if older people have higher level of self-efficacy, can also help them to maintain, can help them to have a better management of their own health. So the next layer shows the environmental factors, such as the accessibilities to, different social resources and also the health services and also the public transport, as well as the safe outdoor space, and also walkability, the green areas, and also have a natural light exposure is also a very important for older peoples. Well, this element actually shapes the daily opportunities for older adults to engage with different physical and social activities, provide them sufficient stimulations to enhance their physical and cognitive health. So finally, the outer layer represents modern ecosystem and policy influence, such as urban planning or fair resources distributions, which creates the overall environment for healthy aging. So focusing on modifying these factors will present an opportunities to develop interventions that can improve the health as well as the overall quality of life for older adults. So building on this conceptual framework, I have incorporated some of these modifiable factors when designing gerontechnology-based interventions. Well, I think depending on the times, I will use one or two of the examples to illustrate how I incorporate some of those factors when I design my interventions using the gerontechnology. So the first one is the virtual reality motor cognitive training. It can call VR bike or the VR MCT training system. For this one, we use the immersive virtual reality technologies to create a simultaneous dual task training with an aim to enhance both the cognitive and physical health for older adults with cognitive frailty. And in the system, the physical training was provided through cycling in the VR environment. And for the cognitive training is provided through 8 interactive VR games. Well, actually, we have already completed a clinical trials to prove the effectiveness of this system. In the clinical trial, we observed, our participants improved their walking speed and also their overall physical functions after received our real MCT program. And this improvement was contributed by the motor training design embedded in the program, because in the clinical trial, participants had to complete 60 VR cycling sections on a motor sensoring bike to navigate in the VR environment. And the environment integrated with lots of motor tasks with an aim to strengthen their muscle, particularly the muscle on their lower limb. Well, we also have some games enhance their coordination as well as shortens their reaction time. And the system can also automatically adjust the levels of difficulties according to participant performance during the training. And we believe that the combines of progressive physical trainings together with the VR feedback really engage older adults and motivate them to continue to practice, eventually enhance their physical function. And also when we build our system, we also want to enhance our user confidence and motivation in terms of their self-efficacy. And it was achieved through a gamified and also an immersive scenarios with familiar and real-life context. So that makes our participants feel that they are capable and also everything they can control. And in our VR settings, we use lots of familiar virtual scenario. For example, ask our participant to shopping in a neighborhood supermarket or finding a bus stop in a local street. So make participants feel that the trainings are relevant to their daily life. And also, we have embedded a lot of recognizable landmarks in the virtual environment. Actually, those landmarks serve as a memory cruise and help them to transfer what they have learned in the VR training into their daily life. It can eventually enhance their confidence to remain independent in the community. And also in the training, well, participants have a chance to practice weight findings in the virtual streets or virtual stops. So, and VR environments replicate a lot of real-world settings, so allow participants to plan and rehearse the routes to everyday destinations. So, and we aim, so this kinds of trainings actually aim to strengthen their sense of direction. So because sense of directions is very important to help older people to remain independent in the community. And also in our VR environments, we simulate the natural environments such as the green park. So it provides the restorative visuals and sensory experience, so similar to being outdoors. So by mirroring the stress reductions benefits of the real outdoor space, so it makes participants feel more relaxed and more focused during the training. So actually, we have already, published our clinical trial. So I won't go to great detail because of the time, but you are welcome to have a look of our publications. But in short, so all the participants after receive our VRMCT training sections, so they have significant improvement in their global cognitive function, increase their walking speed, as well as reduce their physical frailty status. So I think this is almost the end of my presentations. And the final take-home message would be, so do remember frailty is potentially reversible because during the stages of frailty, so people is not yet develops any disablement. So it provides a very valuable interventions window for reverse the frailty status. And we believe that the gerontechnologies offer powerful opportunities to promote healthy aging in frail older adults. And the designs of the gerontechnology should be grounded in evidence-based frameworks and targeting the modifiable individuals and environmental factors. And this is the reference, and thank you very much. Welcome any questions.